Just wanted to take a couple of minutes to just reminisce about the time I got to meet Stan and just kind of how I was introduced to Stan and to Marvel Comics in general. When I was a kid, little kid, I had no interest in reading, like 3, 4 years old. I had no interest in reading whatsoever. And my mom and dad got me a book that was actually published the year I was born, 1974, called Origins of Marvel Comics. And what Origins of Marvel Comics had in it was the origin story from the original comic for all these different heroes. And then a current story from 1974. And introducing these bits were essays by Stan. So the art, the Ditko, the Kirby, the goodness, just the amazing artwork drew me in, and the stories and everything about these comics I loved. And after I read the comics, well, what's all this? Oh, well, this is the guy who wrote the comics. And he's kind of talking about how he came up with them and how they made the comics. So I wanted to read that. And then I was all in. I have been a crazy big reader ever since. And it really was all thanks to this book. All thanks to Stan Lee. And I read that book until it literally fell apart. I kept it in a bag for a good 15 years before I finally came across a copy of it at a reasonable price and picked it up. And it's funny because in 2010, 8 years ago, Stan Lee made his first appearance at the Phoenix Comic-Con. So had to meet the man. It was $50 per signature. At the time, people were like, what? $50? That's ridiculous. And I was, $50. Small price to pay to be in the presence of the man for a moment. Something I never thought would happen. So, yeah, I was in. So I had 2 things to get signed. The first thing was this recently acquired beautiful copy of Origins of Marvel Comics. And the other was a piece of art that a buddy of mine, Vince DePorter, who's done a bunch of great comics over the years. Google him. He's done work with DC on their licensed stuff. Scooby-Doo, we did their covers for ages. He did a ton of work with SpongeBob. Just a good cat. And he hooked me up with an amazing piece to get signed by Stan. So we go, waiting in line, and my son, who is now 9, is just mere months old. He's a little bitty baby in his little bitty baby carriage. And we're going to meet the man. So we're waiting in this monstrous line, and security is walking the line, and they're telling us, okay, so here's how it's going to work. We got a ton of people we got to get through. You hand your stuff to the lady, she'll hand it to Stan, point to where you want it signed, and then move on. Don't ask him a million questions. Don't shake his hand. Just give him your stuff, and it'll be signed, and move on. Okay. So they said don't ask a million questions, but they didn't say don't talk to him. So if I've got 3 autographs worth of time to spend in front of Stan, I am totally going to talk. That 3rd autograph, Uncle Kyle, my buddy, working at the comic shop that day. At the time, I was a full-time employee of the late great Hero Comics in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. So yeah, this was a big moment for everybody. It was a big moment for the con. It was the biggest guest ever, because obviously he is the biggest guest, comic-wise, ever that you could get. Stan the man. We're going to meet the man. So awesome. Waiting in line. Finally, it's my turn. I walk up to Stan, and I give the lady my stuff, and I start talking. Stan, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for everything that you've done. I work at a comic shop because of you. This is my son, his name is because of you. Thank you so much. I learned to read on this book right here. I learned to read on this book. and it's all because of you. Thank you so much. And Stan, he says, oh no, I should be thanking you for saying such nice things. And then he reaches out his hand to shake my hand. And security, they tense up, but oh no, I am not leaving the man hanging. So, shook his hand, he signed my books, I went on my way. It was probably one of 2 times my ex-wife saw me speechless. I'm so sad that I never got to get a picture with Stan and my son, because that would be something that would truly be amazing to have. I do have this photo of me talking to the man and getting it signed. And then the 2 things that I got signed. This is the Origins of Marvel Comics book that I love so much, and these stories are amazing, you know, and just all the stuff they teach you, you know, just to reinforce the stuff that Mom and Dad were telling me, you know. Don't be a racist, you know, be nice to people. With great power comes great responsibility, all that good stuff. So there's that, which I love. And then this right here, that's something that that I love. It'll always be on display. My son loves it, and it's something that I hope someday his son loves, and it's something that'll be like literally like a family heirloom that will pass on from generations to generation. And thanks, Vince, for that. That's amazing, man. So yeah, thank you, Stan Lee, for all the amazing characters. Thank you for instilling a lifelong love of comics, superheroes, reading, and everything else. It's truly generational. My dad, who he was dyslexic when he was a kid, hates to read, loves Marvel movies, and he knows Stan Lee. You know, ever since my kid was 3, he knew who Stan Lee was and would get excited when he would show up in the movies. Got excited. I remember one time I was in the kitchen and he's like, Daddy, Daddy! So I come running in. I thought something happened. He's like, look, it's Stan Lee. We had one of the bonus features from the Michael Keaton Batman on, and they were interviewing Stan, and he was so excited to see Stan. So I am not looking forward to telling him that Stan is no longer with us, but Stan will always be with us. Those characters will always be with us. It is truly the modern day mythology, and you know, obviously he didn't do it alone. He had a lot of help, but without him and without the way he was just a tireless ambassador for comics for so many years, I don't think it would be what it is today without Stan. So seriously, it felt like lost a member of the family today. I was glad I got through this video without crying, because I cried a little bit at work today. Not in front of everybody, which was good. I got out. But yeah, it took a minute to process. And yeah, it's been awesome seeing all the great tributes on Facebook and the great remembrances from some truly talented people who, much like myself, you know, were just thrilled and inspired by the words of Stan Lee. So this evening's entertainment is going to be this bad boy here, Mutants, Monsters, and Marvels. A young fanboy Kevin Smith has the time of his life interviewing Stan, getting all these stories. It's kind of like the Origins of Marvel Comics brought to life. I recommend it. Look it up on eBay, Amazon, something. It's probably streaming somewhere. Check it out. A fitting tribute to just a great man who will definitely be missed. So that's it. Stan, Excelsior, thank you for everything. And thanks for checking in YouTube. If you like what you hear, if you want to hear more, like the video, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.